Good evening. Okay, like I mentioned before, our speaker is on the way. She had a low tire and needed to get some gas. So we wanted her to be safe. Went ahead and got that taken care of, and she'll be here soon. So we'll go ahead and take care of our business as usual, since this happens to us kind of a lot. So what happens when you live in the corner of the state, it takes people a while to get here. So we'll go ahead and do our business, and then we'll let her speak when she gets here, okay? All right, if you guys will stand and join me in the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Near the flag over here, you guys will see that there is a sign. You can read it. These are $20. The sign was made by Tulsa County Democrats. So just know that we're not going to get any money out of this. They just sold some to a couple people here in town and then brought some extras with them when they delivered them, in hopes that we might find some more people that would want one in their yard. So if you're interested, just let us know. You can take one home tonight. They do come with a stand to go in your yard. I just didn't stick them in, but we can put one in for you before you leave if you need us to. Okay, so just see Rebecca or Celeste in the back if you're interested in one of those signs. Okay. You'll notice that there were no agendas back there with the meetings because I forgot them tonight on the way out. When she called to tell me that her car was having problems, I just dropped everything on the floor. Luckily, it wasn't like a baby or anything. It was just all my notes for tonight and our agendas and half of the stuff I needed. So we don't have any minutes to approve tonight. So we will have to do a double approval next meeting if you guys are okay with that. And I'm really sorry about that. Let me talk about some upcoming dates that we have. On September the 10th, and I'll try to do these in chronological order. September the 10th, we have Bartlesville Pride. We'll have our booth over here at the Unity Square. If you're interested in manning the booth or just stopping by and hanging out, saying hi, and giving some support to the festival and also to us, just know that that will be happening. I don't know the time exactly, but we'll send out a sign up pretty soon. Rebecca, do you? Okay. Okay, perfect. So if you're ready to volunteer tonight, talk to Rebecca. She's going to be the one doing the setup and takedown. So, see the secretary if you want to volunteer for that tonight. And if you're not ready to commit, that's fine. Like I said, we'll send out an email and you can sign up that way if you're interested. It's not a long event. It's just a few hours long. So there won't be a whole lot of slots for you guys to sign up for, but there will be. On September the 20th, if you're interested in some training, some of you guys are really excited about getting your hands dirty and really getting into the weeds when it comes to electioning. So there will be a training done by Tulsa County held on September the 20th at 6:00 p.m. at the Tulsa Pipe Fitters Union, I think is where they're having it. Again, we have all this information. I posted it on Facebook so you can see the event. Check that out if you're interested in some training. It's about collaborating for democratic victory is what it's called. So if you're interested in that, that's all the information I have. I wish I could tell you more details about what will happen that evening, but it's just a few hours long. Tulsa County always has some really good training. They have great activists down there, so you won't be disappointed if it's something you choose to attend. On September the 29th, we'll have our September meeting. The League of Women Voters will be here talking to us, and hopefully we will have a few, before I say this, raise your hands if you guys don't live in Bartlesville. Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm going to see if a few of the city council candidates for Bartlesville have asked if maybe they could come and speak to us. But if everybody was driving for Ramona for our meetings, I wasn't going to bother. But since you guys are Bartians, for the most part, I will go ahead and see if they do want to come and speak. And if they do, that'll be at our September meeting. Okay. October 27th, we'll have our
monthly meeting. Naomi Andrews, we had her a couple months ago. She'll be here speaking one last time to you just before the vote happens November the 8th. So her idea is just kind of get out the vote. She's been asking a lot about you guys, just kind of what we're doing, where we're at. She likes Bartlesville a lot. She likes Washington County, so she'll be back up here. In fact, she asked about tonight's meeting as well. She's running for United States House. And her opponent now is Brecken. Is that how we say his name? Bresheen. Well, that guy. Then the last thing that I have on my list here, November the 8th, we will have an election watch party. We're still hammering out the details about where and when that will be, but we will get together as a group if you're interested to watch some of the returns locally and nationally. Usually we get a few more wins nationally, so we kind of have to keep our eye on those races just to keep going through the night. You know how it is. In the back, we still have postcards for those of you who would like to write your elected officials and these wonderful lists. Again, if you weren't here at our last meeting, we have a great list of elected officials, local and national, for us, for you to write your, the people who represent you and tell them what you think. So we've got pre-posted postcards back there, however you say that. And so if you'd like to pick some of those up and write someone and let them know what you think about anything, that would be great. Okay. We have a new post office box, a new address. So we have post office box 3. Yeah, I know, it is very exciting. We've just been using our home address, which, some of you it's okay, but we live in scary times and I don't need everyone knowing where I live. So our new post office box is 353 here in Bartlesville 74005. So we'll have that on our website, all of our emails and stuff going out. If you ever want to send us a check or drop me like an anonymous letter or something telling me how wonderful I am, that is always welcome. You could just tell me how much you hate me written. That's fine. I like to read a good love. Okay, so the runoffs are over and we have our candidates finally. So we know that Kendra Horn will be running for Senate, Madison Horn will be running for Senate, Naomi will be running for, Madison Horn and Kendra Horn are both running for Senate, Naomi Andrews running for House, and then Joy Hoffmeister running for governor. I really encourage you, if you have not donated to a campaign or reached out and asked how you can help, please do so before the election. It's important to vote. It is. You have to vote, but we have to help them before the elections happen as well. So please find one of them that you like or that you're excited about and get behind them. Okay, let's have some reports. John, do you have anything to report this month for affirmative action? Okay. Rebecca, do you have any reports this month? No, nothing to share. Celeste. Can you take off your mask? Sorry. It's just hard to hear you. And check your promotions folder, your junk, your spam. Mine go there, and I'm the chair. So it's likely that you have missed some emails there as well. So just check over there and see. Sorry. Yeah.
Very funny. I have some questions I brought this last time. The last one, I'll just put my picture here. They have a list of different things that you can do to help get Democrats elected here and out of state. So you can do Karen Bowman wrote a fabulous letter to the Tulsa world. Mix that, yeah. So that's something that she can write a letter, she can write a letter to the editor, and you can call and text to knock on doors, throughout the offers of things. That was really great for our candidates. And then there's a couple of statewide events that are happening. This weekend is Women's Holiday, and the Women's Federations of the Democratic Party are having a indoor rally and brunch. That's what the city's got so far. And then, well, no, I just remember the veterans have their own food, and they have a pancake breakfast, which unfortunately is 10 days tied.
Right.
On September 10th. But those events are really fun because all the candidates go, all the elected officials go, and they, and so they're going to do like 10 or 30 of these events. And the big one that's really highlighted, I want to tell you guys about, is the Mike Steinmeier Memorial Barbecue. And that is Saturday, October 1st. And it's not too far, it's late April, which I think is anyway, kind of elected officials, candidates will be there, and Clay Crowder, liberal government, but they end up he is still tiny, and he's going to be performing. So that is going to be something that's $25 for a barbecue with Clay with the outside. So we have all that info, we can put on the table here, so everybody's interested. Action and events.
Do you have a bank total for us this month? So for the video, $3,406.75 in the bank and $40 cash on hand for $34,46.75. Thank you very much, Celeste. Appreciate that. Okay, that is all of our in-house stuff. Did Rebecca go down? Rebecca? Okay. Okay, so you guys have any questions while we wait or any comments? Anything burning through you? Yeah, Roberta?
You haven't dates when like things like now we're doing something you do it first in person, never gonna do it, never you're gonna do it what
Right, so I think the registration deadline for voting is October 14th for just registering for this next election, and then for absentee ballots, I think it's 24th. Gosh, this is all off the top of my head. I had great notes. As you know, the former president would say, they were the best notes. They were amazing. Sorry, I really don't like that. No. I'll find it. In the email, in fact, I know it's in the email that we sent out. There was a whole list of dates on there, and they include all of the registration deadlines and stuff. So if you'll check the email that we sent out, you'll have all that information. Yeah, great question, Roberta. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Yeah, Celeste. We don't have any plans to have a booth at the county fair, but that doesn't mean we can't. I didn't know about it, honestly. It just wasn't on my radar. But we can check into that. What do you know what the date is on that? Of September? It might be a little late, but I'll check. I'll call tomorrow or email who I need to tomorrow. 8th through the 10th. And it's the Washington County one. Oh, because we got Pride too. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Okay. Let me give it a think. Yeah. Yeah. Did anybody get any student loan forgiveness in here? I mean, I did, thank God. Anybody else? No? Awesome. Well, party for Eric. That's good. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, Rebecca.
Would you possibly comment?
Yeah, so the Republicans have made their awful choice yet again. God, they cannot choose the lesser of the two evils, can they? So they chose Walters, I believe, Brian Walters. And so remind me again what our candidate's name is. Jenna Nelson, yes. So Jenna Nelson is the Democrat running against him. It is imperative that she beat him. Education is one of the last services in this state that is still functioning, even if barely and with no funding. So it's really important that we not replace Joy Hoffmeister, who's running for governor, with somebody who's completely unqualified, who knows nothing about running a government agency, who is just another lackey of a governor who has run our state into the ground after another governor, Mary Fallin, tried her very best to do the exact same thing. So we absolutely cannot allow the Republicans to damage education any more than they already have. So we have to rally around Jenna. And we have to elect Joy Hoffmeister. Honestly, if you were asking me today what the most important race on my radar is, it is Joy Hoffmeister. We have to replace the governor. With her in the governor's mansion, education can be protected. She can be there as a stopgap against an awful superintendent choice should that happen in November. So, that's where my heart is. That's where my energy will be going. Please, again, like I said, choose somebody, but if you are, wondering, God, where can I make the biggest impact? Honestly, I feel like this is Oklahoma's last state. We have to elect a better governor, and it has to happen now. We can't wait 4 more years, can't wait 8 more years. The damage is too much. It's just too much. So that's where my efforts will be, and I hope you join me with it. Thanks, Steve. Okay. Yeah, and that is not a pie in the sky race. It is not like the governor's mansion is something Democrats can't win. We absolutely can win that. And she is a moderate candidate. I know she is not everybody's cup of tea sitting in here. I know that, okay? A lot of you have progressive hearts, and she is not as progressive as maybe we would like her to be. But she is worlds more progressive than Governor Stitt. She will actually move our state forward. She will care for the children of our state. She will make sure that the elderly have a voice. I mean, this is a woman who has dedicated her life to helping others. And I think that her service, her record are proven, and his are too. I mean, we've seen it. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. I mean, it's almost comedy at this point. I mean, you couldn't write this kind of stuff. So I really do think that Joy is our last best hope for this state. Yeah, we're perfect.
Your other person just talked about it, equally as important. I mean, as one who's been fighting, I don't know how many years for up education, because my family, that's what almost one of my aunts, whatever, say, all this stuff, what say, because we're getting now, not only affect the children of the state, but they're also the next generation.
Right.
And what I'm seeing is something that harkens back to the 1950s. And we're again another Republican doing, and I don't see that. I don't want to see the things that we consider literature and art, part of life. And people told what they can and can't think.
Right.
And that's why and I'm planning to do myself at least to get my computer knowledge, to try to get things I post on Facebook to get people to the sides of some of these people so that they will know them.
Well, and on our website and the state Democrats website, there are links to all of these candidates so that you can inform yourself better about some of these people that maybe you've not heard of. Yeah, question.
No,
comment. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
They have a sale on long books and videos. I can think that Malcolm X and a number of other videos like that, and I've gotten a number of books that I've picked up brand new. Some of the cover stuff, things like that. You can usually point out where they're selling things.
So they have Okay. Well, that's worth an ask downstairs. You know, I like the library staff here quite a lot. I've been on really good terms with them since I was a little boy biking here to, rent the Karate Kid and on video and all my books. But I'll ask, and I hope you do. That's something that shouldn't be happening, and it's sad to hear that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah.
That will be 5 set. On Latin American history. And
Yeah,
I feel like it's a really strong presence for history. And it was most recently, avenue segue is teaching. But I think it would be worth asking. Because I've had somebody else, they come in. If I was in the life, she had all this stuff, because they were different things, patriotic, they were doing something else. So maybe we're sensitizing.
Well, is it, and then the hope maybe is that maybe they got a new set. Gosh, wouldn't that be wonderful? If it's just a new set. Well, like I said, I hope that it's not the case that they're just pulling books off the shelf, but if it is, we should ask. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. People who are afraid of others asking questions are hiding something or doing something that they shouldn't. So never be afraid to ask questions, especially when we're in the minority like we are. Yeah. I mean, I don't want anything removed, but talk to the librarian, I guess. Well, I apologize. I do not know where our speaker is. If you will give me just a moment, I'm going to step out in the hall and I'm going to call her just to see if I can touch base and check and make sure she's okay. She's okay. So I'll be right back.
Say librarians take a course in urging books, the right way, and they take into account how often that book is checked out. A lot of times to make space for
That one online.
yeah. But if there's a standard that you go by, you get training. And it hurts. Who wants to give away any books?
It would be interesting to go look at part of the law, or some of the books you would talk about.
I can make a list that I have.
Yeah, see if the need they just been replaced, yeah, have the copies or whether they're still in.
They are replacing them, right? You know something I don't. Oh, yeah.
Adam, yeah.
Really? Yes. What we can do is,
First day that's
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if we have any bottles. We may have a-
So did you guys get all your business done?
We're streaming by Zoom, and so here's our mic. You can take it out
Oh,
if you
great.
need, but if you'll just keep yourself in frame.
Okay,
When you're talking to us, just so that
Okay.
everybody's home.
okay. Well, this is a really great crowd. So I definitely appreciate you guys showing up. It's so fun to come to our communities in Oklahoma and meet everybody. And it's just the highlight of my campaign. I just appreciate the support so much that I'm getting from our rural towns. And really, my campaign is definitely crafted to help rural areas. So I want to talk to you about 5 issues that the Corporation Commission can control that could make your life better. So there are 5 kind of goals I have to improve the functioning of the commission. How does that sound, sir? I need to use the mic. Okay. All right. How's that? Is that better? Okay, sorry. So right now, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission is the most powerful agency that you have never heard of. It's actually the most powerful agency besides, I know you want me to keep in the frame and that's hard for me because I like to walk around, but it's the most powerful agency besides the governor's office. So we know the governor does a lot, but actually the commission does a lot that affects your pocketbook. So there are many things the commission controls, but before I get into that, let me just tell you that the commission is a progressive agency. You know, the progressive era created a lot of agencies for consumer protection, and then we added some more agencies during the New Deal. So Bob Anthony, who is our best commissioner right now, calls the Oklahoma Corporation Commission a Christmas tree agency. And that's because every year they just add a new duty onto the agency, right? Well, I'm not going to talk about every single thing the agency does. I'm going to focus on the highlights. So the big idea behind the Oklahoma Corporation Commission is it's supposed to protect you, the Oklahoma consumer. That's the most important thing you need to know about this agency. What is its purpose? Its purpose is to protect you, the Oklahoma consumer. So it's sort of like Social Security. When people say they want to privatize Social Security, what they're trying to do is take an amazing statute passed during the New Deal to reduce poverty and protect the elderly, and then just make it do something that's totally different than its purpose. So I think we really need to go back to what is the purpose of this agency, and it's to protect you. So keep that in mind. And then let's talk about how this affects your pocketbook. How's everybody's electric rates? How are your electric rates looking? Are they great? Are you happy with your bill? They're going up. How about your gas rates? They're going up. Okay, what's happening is that I actually teach energy regulation at the University of Tulsa College of Law. I teach water law, I teach energy law, I teach natural resources law, and I teach administrative law. And administrative law is the law of regulation. And everything that the Corporation Commission does has to do with regulating entities that tend to behave like monopolies. So one of the things that I teach is public utilities. The way it's supposed to work is that the utilities come to the commission, the AG sends a consumer protection advocate to the commission, and then the commission sets the rates. But what's happened in Oklahoma is the utilities send their attorney, the AG sends nobody, and then the commission gives utilities exactly what they want. So this is not the way it's supposed to work. That's not what it says in the textbook. And it's not even the critical cases in the textbook nobody's ever heard of this. Like I've talked to people in other states because I have a friend who was the consumer lawyer in Texas. And really, in many ways, we're in a worse situation than Texas with regard to our utilities, because we know during the winter storm last year, we know what the top rate that was paid in Texas. We know it was $9,000 per kilowatt hours. That's a lot of money. $9,000 per kilowatt hour. That's pretty scary, right? But what's even scarier than that number is that we literally do not know what the utilities in Oklahoma paid for gas during the winter storm last year. And the reason we don't know that is because the Corporation Commission has issued a protective order and kept it a secret. So I can send you a list of the companies that sold us gas during the storm last year, but what I can't give you is how many units were purchased and what the price per unit is. So you see, we know what the price per unit was in Texas, but we don't know that for Oklahoma. So the first thing I want to do for the commission is transparency. We need to know what's going on over there. Like this is your agency. This agency is designed to protect you. So can we figure out what they're doing? That'd be a great start. The second thing we need is accountability. So the utilities ask for more money and they get it. There's no kind of effort to really work for the consumer. The AARP has been amazing. They're really fighting for us on this issue. The American Association of Retired People, right now, they are your best advocate. And I'm trying to also be an advocate, which is why I'm going to as many towns as I can to let you know about your rights in this process. But so we need accountability. The commission needs to explain to us why they have given utilities like OG&E and ONG rate increase after rate increase. And there's one commissioner doing his job, Bob Anthony. He and I are actually not in the same party. I'm like a diehard Dem, but we are both technical people and we're both people who appreciate expertise. Because really, this is not a job which requires partisanship. It's a job that requires expertise. So we now know that my opponent is Kim David. Who is Kim David? Kim David was sitting at the table with OG&E last week. She was at a big fancy gala, hanging out with her buddies at the utilities she wants to regulate. And you can actually look up all the money that I've gotten. It's from people like you guys, Grandma Millie, Grandpa Bob. I'm getting some union money, but all her money is oil and gas interests. And it's public knowledge. You can just go to the Ethics Commission and see who's getting what from whom, right? So Kim David is lying, and she's running TV ads saying that she wants to keep your rates down. She's lying. And the reason I can honestly say with complete conviction that she's lying is she is the person who helped push through Senate Bill 1050, which raises your rates. So what happened was the commission was asleep at the switch, and so was the AG. And commission should have said, look, utilities, you weren't prepared for Winter Storm Uri. So we're not gonna let you pass on any of these costs. If somebody does something that's negligent, should you pay their bill? Do you feel happy about paying the bill of somebody who didn't do their job and didn't do it correctly? I mean, we're all budget people, right? We all have a budget. Nobody here is, owning Tesla. And so, why is it that we have to pay the bills of people who weren't prepared? So we're not Texas, thank goodness, but Texas is not regulated by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, right? They're on their own grid, which is its own kind of problem, but it's not our problem. We are so lucky, we are part of the Southwest Power Pool. So we are attached to many other states who can help us in an emergency. And that's why we didn't have the same level of rolling blackouts and rolling brownouts that Texas did. But what's special or what's important about Oklahoma is that we are regulated by the federal government. The Federal Energy Regulatory Committee is our oversight committee and commission, and they make sure that everybody is prepared when we have major weather events. So the Oklahoma Corporation Commission and the utilities were warned by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They were warned by the Southwest Power Pool. They were warned by the meteorologists that we were expecting a 100-year winter storm, but they weren't prepared. How many of y'all have kids or grandkids in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, or were Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts yourself? Okay, so I'm a Boy Scout mom and a Girl Scout mom and a former Girl Scout and a former 4-H'er. And the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts actually have the same motto. Both of them say be prepared. So why weren't the utilities prepared? They knew there was a situation coming down the pike, and they knew they needed to winterize, and they were legally obligated to winterize because we are controlled by FERC. When FERC tells Texas to winterize, they don't have to do anything. When FERC tells Oklahoma to winterize, or Oklahoma utilities, they do need to do something. So they weren't, that's why I call them negligent and reckless. Okay, and so the commission could have simply said, you cannot pass on these costs from Winter Storm Uri, you need to absorb them because they were avoidable. So the commission didn't do its job. Now there are 3 people on the commission. If I were elected and Bob Anthony's there for a little longer, we would have a quorum. Todd Hyatt is not a very hard worker, doesn't go to work very often, but I'm running for an open seat, Dana Murphy's seat. So Bob and I would go to work and we would be able to get quite a bit done. So any 2 out of the 3 can control what the commission does. So Bob Anthony dissented to keeping the prices secret last year, but he's basically a lone voice in the wilderness. But with 2 out of 3 commissioners who are competent, we can get an enormous amount done. So the first #1 priority I have is to get your electric and gas rates down. How does that sound to you? And it was Kim David who helped lobbyists push through the securitization bill through the legislature, and that is the bill that's pushing through what will end up being about $4.5 billion, not million, 9 zeros, $billion for Oklahoma consumers. On average, that's going to add $100 to your bill. And that does not even include the other rate increases that are coming down the pipe. So if you're on a fixed income, if you're on Social Security, if you're on disability, if you're a veteran, this hurts. I'm a mom of 3, it hurts. So we've really got to get these prices down. It's totally within the ambit of the commission to do that. That is their job. And let me tell you, if anyone says, oh, let the market deal with it, electric utility not controlled by the market. The market does not control prices for utilities. The commission does. Utilities act like a monopoly unless you stop them. So this is literally like, you have to have government regulation, or let's call it oversight. We have to have government oversight or this doesn't work. So if somebody tells you, oh, well, let the market no, the market does not control utility prices. That is a fiction. That is a myth. That is hoo-ha. Anyone who says that doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Okay, so we're going to get transparency. We're going to get accountability. We're going to get your prices down. Those are some of my goals. Another important goal I have is pipeline safety. This is an easy one. We have a lot of pipelines in Oklahoma, and that's great. But, and we're probably going to get more if they actually can figure out how to make hydrogen work. We will have even more pipelines. Also, as Oklahoma gas becomes more important to the East Coast due to the Russian-Ukrainian situation, we will have more pipelines. I want to do something really simple. I want us to follow best practices for pipeline safety. That is really simple. It's not a crazy idea. It isn't a radical idea. It isn't even a difficult idea. It's just common sense. So can we meet the industry standard of best practices for pipeline safety? What does this do for you? If pipelines leak, the results are disastrous. Oil, gas, also there's a bunch of chemicals in there that aren't just oil and gas. If they leak and they leak into your aquifer, your water is contaminated. It cannot get uncontaminated. I specialize in water. Furthermore, you know, whatever's on the ground, very bad for humans, wildlife. It's bad for air quality. And finally, when we meet best practices for our pipeline, we create well-paid, sustainable, highly skilled jobs. So there's nothing but good things that can happen if we meet best practices in pipeline safety. All right, now the Corporation Commission also does something really important, which can also help you save money. Corporation Commission is in charge of telecom. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we have competitive telecom in every county. If you only have one provider, that's not competitive. 2 providers isn't great. The ideal is 3 providers. So if we could move towards over time 3 providers in each county, we could really get prices down. But more importantly, with advances in technology, telephone providers can also be internet service providers. And I'm going to tell you that some of the saddest things I've seen on this campaign trail, I have met multiple families. I particularly remember a family in Okmulgee and a family in Fairfield up by Ottawa County. Their kids are literally going to Walmart or McDonald's to finish their homework. So they sit at school, they try to finish their homework, but when the school closes, then they have to go somewhere else. So with the push towards online school, you know, we're just really disadvantaging our children. And this is ridiculous because getting, you know, we've been talking about getting telecom to rural areas for over 20 years now, and this is just a solvable problem. Worst case scenario, you can actually take a truck and put a satellite dish on it. So this is a super solvable problem. It's not expensive to solve. The best thing to do would be to make sure we have a competitive situation with the providers. We don't have to raise taxes because the federal government, Congress, and the president have given us a lot of money in the Infrastructure and Jobs Act. So actually, Oklahoma has the money to do this. But, you know, we've seen a situation lately where the government of Oklahoma gets money and then it goes to terrible things like Swadley's and Epic charter schools. So again, like I said, accountability. I want competitive telecom, but I also want accountability on how we spend that internet and jobs money. Then there's the issue of diversifying our energy portfolio. We've been a leader in this state with oil and gas for a long time. And now we're actually a leader in wind energy, which is amazing. We're one of the top wind producers in the country. But you know what's not going well? Solar. We produce less than 1% of our energy in Oklahoma from solar energy. And that's very sad because the new bill that both the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, as well as this new bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, have money for us to build out our infrastructure and solar. So we don't have to raise any taxes. That money is there. And there's enormous potential for solar in Oklahoma, particularly once you leave green country and go west, just ridiculously amazing potential. And again, we don't have to raise taxes to build the infrastructure. Solar is fantastic because the marginal cost of producing solar energy is zero. So once you've built out this infrastructure that the government has already given us the money to build, there's no additional marginal cost to produce solar energy. So furthermore, it's distributed energy. So if you have a situation where there is a blackout or a brownout and you are able to put solar on your house, then you're going to have a more resilient grid, and you'll have a little bit of insurance for blackouts. The more energy diversity we have, the more resilient we are when we have big storms or super hot temperatures. So from a resilience perspective, or from a just common sense perspective, we really need to diversify our portfolio. And I'm a realist. I teach energy, I teach water, I teach natural resources, but I also know that 60 to 80% of our energy right now comes from fossil fuels. We cannot make a transition tomorrow. We can make a transition in 50 years to renewable energy, but we got to start now. And oil and gas are going to be with us for a long time. Those jobs aren't going away. If somebody tells you that solar, wind takes away jobs from oil and gas, that's not correct. They're just extra jobs. They're just more highly skilled, well-paid, sustainable jobs. So it's really a win to have solar energy. We're very lucky in Oklahoma. We've got biomass, we've got oil and gas, we've got wind, we've got solar potential. We are one of the luckiest states in the nation. We can be a leader in this area. We can, instead of being the oil capital of the world, we can just be the energy capital of the world. So I can kind of go on and on. I have a lot of ideas. My last idea is just Infrastructure and Jobs Act and the Inflation Reduction Act have quite a few. They have a lot of money for solar. They have a lot of money for grid updates. I always get nervous when the utility companies tell us they need a rate increase to do grid updates because we have no transparency and no accountability. So how do we know that they did grid updates and what did they update? So what I'd like to do is, could we have an audit of our grid and find out what needs help and what doesn't? Because usually cities are in really good shape, but rural areas are underserved. That's just a basic tenet of economics. So I would recommend we have a grid update, figure out which areas need help, and then we can wisely spend that money from the Infrastructure and Jobs Act and the Inflation Reduction Act to help the most vulnerable citizens in Oklahoma. So those are some of my ideas, and I am totally available for questions. And I just want to end on a little bit of a hopeful note. We've got a great slate, everyone. This is a really good year for Oklahoma Democrats. We have a slate of professional, smart, highly qualified people. This is a strong slate. Melinda Alizadeh-Fard, she's running for lieutenant governor. She's an immigration attorney. She's amazing, super nice person. She's just a delightful individual. We've got some terrific congressional candidates, Naomi Andrews, Joshua Harris-Till. We have Joy Hoffmeister at the top of the ticket, Kendra Horn. She's our superstar, and we're just trying to help her out so she can represent us in the Senate. But, we're going to build this party brick by brick, step by step. So I just want you to be hopeful and optimistic because there's so many good things going on right now, and we can really make a difference. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
We've got a few minutes, if any of you guys have any questions, yeah. okay.
Sir?
Or Jeff.
What about wind?
We're a big wind producer. I've written actually an article in the Kansas Law Review about wind. Wind is good. It has some downsides. If you want to hear about how to improve them, you know,
Well, I was coming home from Kansas last week, boy, that field, I don't know what they call.
turbines.
They were all over the place.
Yeah, now what we need to do with the grid is we need to adapt the grid to absorb renewable energy. So right now, the electric grid, and that's just the connections from utility to utility, is built for oil and gas. And so if we can make the grid more friendly to wind and solar, again, it'll be more resilient, but it'll also be easier to produce and use renewable energy. And that, again, brings your prices down. So the more different kinds of energy we have, more competition between those types of energy we have, and your prices go down. Okay. They're probably for telecommunications and internet. That would be under the jurisdiction of the Oklahoma Corporation Commission. That's duplication. There's something called co-location where if one company like AT&T builds cable, then other companies can just use it. So if you have two companies, that's good. But they may be doing different parts of the job.
Okay, so that there is more competition. Okay, that's what I thought. Whole idea. They are bound by their contract with the city to repair and smooth over all the holes and so forth. And they're doing it. Yes. Yeah, they're not doing it. To the city. They're putting in new sidewalks. Yeah.
We've got time for one more question here.
I really appreciate your comments that the corporation commission shouldn't be a party commission. What I see though, of course, we have so much, everything. How do you think people to help them understand that this is really not a partisan, it should not be, you know, it's not like us 13 more like that. I'm not sure why. How are we gonna?
That's a potentially more partisan issue. Yeah. I mean, just keep it or stick to the issues because it's like, my issues are simple. I want best practices. I want to lower your rates. I want you to have a voice. And if you go to the Corporation Commission website, you can participate for free on Zoom if you have rural internet on all of their hearings. And there's a hearing coming up. And one thing that's kind of scary is how utility after utility is looking for a rate increase. But I mean, the people you want at the commission are people who are experts and who are thoughtful. It's I mean, it's so technical. It really doesn't matter, you know. Yeah, we'll tell them that my opponent is the person who passed the higher rate increase. Yeah, I mean, I'm running as a Democrat. And we have to fight for these seats. We've got to fill every slot. We've got to fight for every seat. You know, We can't leave these positions unchallenged. As I was talking to my friend, the Sustainability Network, and I'm running to hold my opposition accountable and to inform the public and to keep this process working. Sir? Roberta, okay, I'm sorry.
Um, have they been doing this for 2 years? No, that's great. We have had 2 years now of this, not just this last year, but the extreme cold and then not really warm, cool, weather. Because I remember, in fact, the year before even discussions about what they were going to do.
Well, I mean, the fundamental problem is the AG hasn't been sending in their person, and even the Oklahoma Supreme Court says so. And so if AG isn't doing their job and the commission isn't doing their job and everybody's just giving the utilities everything they want, then you'll just see ongoing, never-ending rate increases. There's a very nice pension. So my opponent is term limited. And since she doesn't seem to have a profession other than running for office, I guess she needs that retirement money.
So before you leave, or before we go, if somebody wanted to get involved with the campaign, how could they?
Yeah, if you go to my website, www.bowman for OK or Bowman for OCC or Fair Rates for a Great State or whatever's on the card, there's a volunteer button and you can just sign up. And I definitely need people who will block walk for me or call their friends or write postcards, because this is a grassroots campaign. And so we're just going to have to do this old school.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I think that that's all that we've got for tonight. Celeste, do you know if anyone's heading over to Price Tower tonight? Are you heading over there? Or? Okay, yeah, so there will be some people at least going over to the Price Tower. So if you'd like to join Celeste and others for a social hour, just a nice little drink and chat, follow her over there. If not, we will see you guys either at Pride or at our next meeting, okay? Oh, yep. Yep. That action sheet. Yep, perfect. So pick up that sheet on the way out. Rebecca will put it right by the donation box. You know, you could leave $1 or something. Thank you, Democrats. Have a great month. Thank you for coming. Bye, guys.